Today I am explaining about the lecture on the distance education in India, methodology for offering distance education programs. In this, I will be explaining you about the methods has been followed in starting a open and distance learning university and also starting a center in a conventional mode university. What are the faculty level requirement, what are the infrastructure facilities requirement, and what are the materials, learning materials are required away. All these aspects today we will be covering away. Coming to the organizational structure for distance education, first of all we talk about the open and distance learning university. There are two types of distance mode institutions in the country. The first one is the exclusive open and distance learning university, which will be totally concentrating on offering the distance education program, and second one is the conventional universities which are offering as a dual mode in the form of Directorate of Distance Education or Center for Distance Education or School of Distance Education. So, these are the two major distance educational institutions which have been providing education to the various distance education students across the country. As I already mentioned you that presently we are having 635 universities in the country, but only 200 universities of conventional universities are offering the distance education. And besides this, we are having 14 open and distance universities are there exclusively. The best one in Hyderabad is the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, and then at the national level we have the Indira Gandhi National Open Universities. Let us see what are the methodology is being followed in the open and distance universities. Open universities are innovations of 1980 and were established to the demands of the higher education. The organization structure in the open universities are basically two levels. The first one is the administrative setup and second one is the academic setup. In the administrative setup, the university's central administrative structure dealing with the administration and financial matters will be dealt at the administration level. In the academic setup, this is the main part of the academic part in the distance education. In this, schools or faculties which are directly responsible for initiation, design and development of program and instructional material. Besides, they will be also giving academic counseling and evaluation of distance mode universities. So, thus in the open and the distance universities we have two setup, the administrative setup and the academic setup. These are the broad setup. Now, let us see what is the other administrative setups in the regional levels of the open and distance universities. In the open and distance universities regional level, they have a setup of regional centers which is managed by the regional directors, and under each regional director they will also have a study centers at the down level. So, thus in a university, then regional center, then study center. This is a broad framework of a open and distance universities. So, under regional centers, what is the responsibilities and what is the infrastructure to be set up away before we go for the distance education. The regional centers initially they do registration and evaluation of the students. So, whenever a student applies away, they will do registration and evaluation. Then they will also do production of instructional material and print and audio video multimedia and delivery mechanism, academic counseling, support to the students, declaration of results and awards of the degrees, administration and management of finance. Before I go further, I will just tell you the sequential events that are being taken place in the open and distance universities. In the first level, the university will give notification. Then after giving the notification, the students will be starts applying for the various courses which is being offered to them. And the third level, once when they apply to the university will scrutinize the application and convey the admission letter to the various courses. At the fourth level, once the students becomes an officially admitted to the students, that means he become a bona fide students of the course, So, he will be sent the study material. The study material will be sent to him so that he can go through it away. After going through the study material, he will be writing the fifth part is the assignment questions. After writing the assignments, he has to come for contact program, that is a classes away. Then after contact program, he will be attending the term and examinations. So, thus these are the sequential items which will be taking place for the student's point of view whenever he want to seek admission, and then he will be teaching will be imparted through the form of self learning material and evaluation in the form of assignments and the term and examination. The same term material and activity will be repeated in the second term also. So, thus in a year he will be having 2 terms away, and where the students will be imparting the learning sources and material from him. Similarly, what is the organizational structure in the distance education institutes? As I already told you, there are 2 levels of the institutions. One is the open and distance learning exclusive university, and second one is the dual mode universities which are having the center for distance education centers or the school of distance education. As we see the requirements in the ODL universities, now we will see what is the organizational structure in the distance educational institutes. The distance educational institutes in conventional universities have mostly independent structures to plan, to development and the delivery of the program and administer the same. So, even in the DEs also they have the autonomy in offering their programs, right. They will have autonomy in the academic line, in the administrative line, and also in the teaching line also they will have. They will also have again the 2 types, one is the academic activities and second one is the administrative activities. Under academic activities, the DEIs will do generally have faculty in concerned with disciplines. So, they will have exclusive faculty in a course as coordinators, they are called as a coordinators, and they will also supported with the supporting staff. They do activities like planning and production of instructional materials and academic counseling, and then they will also doing evaluation of assignments and examination papers. So, they will be taking academic activities in the distance educational institutes, where they will be giving the notification, then again inviting the application, conveying the admission process, then sending the study material, and they will be attending classes. Now, let us see what are the administrative matters they will take in care in the DEIs. In the administrative pattern in the DEIs, they will have administrative activities like for making the arrangements, correspondence, postal dispatch of the study material, receiving of the financial matter, all these will be dealt under the administrative activities, and they will also undertake registration of the students. Registration of the student will also be undertaken either may be online or through the offline procedures away. Then administration management of finances, whatever fee structures that is being given by the students away, they will be managing with the administration level. Then management of study center, they will have DEIs and they will have regional centers and they will have study centers, whereas in the centers dual mode universities, the regional centers will not be there, they will be directly under control of the DEIs, that is distance education institutes. Study centers will be there, there will not be any the regional directors or regional centers away. Regional centers will be there only in the open university system. So, thus the study centers will be functioning directly under the control of the centers of the distance education or distance education institutes. Then after communicating the study material, learning process is completed, normally they will go for examination. Examination is conducted either at the study center or at the main center only. Then after that evaluation will be completed, and then declaration of results and award of certificates and degrees. So, this is the broad mechanism. Of course, I will be explaining you more about what type of study material is there and what type of examination, continuous evaluation, more details I will be explaining to you. But before to that, I want to explain you what are the quality assurance to be taken away broadly in maintaining the study material and the examination systems. For this, Distance Educational Council DEC is the regulatory body for all the distance educational courses away. They have already designed the various mechanism and guidelines for maintaining the quality standards. For example, if a institute or the university want to start a nursing course, what are the guidelines? If they want to start management course, what are the guidelines? If they want to start a computer course, what are the procedures? If they want to start a library course, what are the standards to be maintained? So, all these there are specific guidelines from the regulatory body, and those guidelines has been designed by the Distance Education Council IGNOU. Presently, it is the Distance Education Council is under the control of University Grants Commission. So, some of the guidelines I will just explain to you. The first one is the DEC has prepared several guidelines and norms, standards, database for bringing quality of the open and distance learning system. They are norms and standards for the management educational program. So, whenever an university want to start the MBA or the management program, they should refer these guidelines. Then norms and standard for computer education. So, whenever they want to start MCA or BSc computer or BCom computers, they will be referring these norms. And similarly, if any university want to start library science, what are the norms? So, again they have given norms and standard for library science. Some of the universities want to start the BSc nursing course also through distance mode, but these are the areas where the quality standards to be maintained, and these are the areas where there is a separate regulatory bodies are there. For example, management and computer education comes under the control of AICTE. For example, the BSc nursing course comes under the control of the Nursing Council of India. So, based upon their parameters, the guidelines has been prepared even for the distance education also, so that to maintain the quality standards in the distance education. So, whenever a university want to start the distance education courses, they can able to refer these guidelines, so that whenever students get a degree, it will be easy for them to get a placement without any objection that it was not having recognition or it is not following the guidelines. Similarly, the DEC has also given some more guidelines away, like guidelines for sharing mechanism from common pool program. For example, IGNOU is already offering one program and another university want to start the similar program. So, in such case, it can able to take the study material designed by the IGNOU and they can share it as a for their own course also. So, that is why there is a guidelines also sharing of the material common pool program. So, whenever 2-3 universities want to use the study material or some of the courses, they can able to share under common pool program. Then, in order to maintain the quality standards, the Distance Education Council is also providing financial assistance for establishing computer lab, for establishing the teaching laboratories, virtual laboratories, for e-learning. All these things will be supported by the Distance Education Council away, for which they will be giving financial assistance, which will be vary from 25 lakhs to 45 lakhs per annum away. So, these are the some of the financial guidelines, and there is also guidelines for the policy for academic staff in distance education. There is a specific guidelines for the academic staff. Generally, whenever a distance course is offered, what type of staff are required, how many professors are required, how many associate professors, how many assistant professors are required away for each program, for a diploma and certificate course, who are the faculty to be appointed. All these guidelines are also mentioned in the DEC guidelines away. Then they also given the assessment. In order to maintain the quality standards, they have given the self assessment. Self assessment means before they go for any accreditation or before they go for any the monitoring mechanism, the regulatory body, then they need to conduct a self assessment with their own level, with their own students away. So, how to conduct that self assessment, that guidelines also clear away. Then they also designed some manuals away for manual for research. So, this is a very important area in distance education. Generally, people feel that what is the research in distance education, but distance education also emphasizes on the conducting of research away to maintain the standards, and at the same time to bring new innovative changes in the distance education. Research is always required away, and it is being supported by the UGC and Distance Education Council for conducting the research. Similarly, what are the minimum norms So, there is a manual for it, minimum norms for ensuring quality in ODL is also given away. So, these are the broad away I told you about what are the structures that they are present, regional centers, study center, and then what are the manuals are required. Now, let us go little more depth level, teaching and learning mechanism. How learning and teaching mechanism will be, the methodology will be there in offering the teaching for the students away. In teaching learning strategies, all SOUs, state open universities and distance education institute should ensure the norms for curriculum development and its approval by statutory authorities of the universities, preparation of self learning material and proper policy for students admissions. Similarly, so in the case of the whenever they want to start a course, they need to divide a curriculum, then they need to design a syllabus, then they need to devise the study material. Self learning material is the backbone of the distance education, because where the presence of the physical presence of the teacher is very less number of hours away, and that is going to take and replacing the self learning material, that part is. So, that is why designing of self learning material, but self learning material will be designed based upon the curriculum, based upon the syllabus. How the self learning material is designed, how many self learning materials are there, how is offered away, now let us go and see. So, whenever a program is quantified or is being offered away, then it will be quantified in terms of credits. Usually in conventional courses also we come across the credits. Here also in the distance education, the program is quantified as a credit away. What is a credit in distance education? A credit is the study input required by a learner to complete a particular part of program, and 1 credit is equal to 30 study hours. It is not a teaching hours, it is a 30 study hours. So, thus a way 1 credit is equivalent to 30 study hours, and this is the input required by the learner. So, thus it is having the 30 credits. So, when which program requires how many credits, certificate requires how many credits, or the diploma course requires how many credits, or a full time degree how many credits, let us see away in this case. So, before we give this the number of credits away, again I will emphasize that there should be laid down mechanism for curriculum development in the parent institutions, and then self learning material could be in the form of printed materials, CD-ROMs, audio, video, DVD, web based materials, and it is also desirable to have programs quantified in terms of credits away. Let us see how the credits are going on. So, in this presentation I am giving the list of the tabular form. You can see in the TV what is the certificate course. Certificate course is a 12 to 18 hours, is a 18 credits are there. So, whenever you want to start a certificate course, it should have minimum 12 to 18 credits. 1 credit is equivalent to 30 work study hours, 30 study hours. So, like that there should be 12 to 18, 30 study hours should be there in a credit certificate course. What is the duration of the program? It is a 6 months. So, for a certificate course always it should be a 6 months program, and it should have 12 to 18 credits should be there. Suppose if I want to start a diploma or postgraduate diploma, then it should have credits of 28 to 36 credits, 28 to 36 credits should be there. So, that is into multiplied with the 30 study hours. So, it is equivalent to 1 year. So, always diploma is equivalent to 1 year. Similarly, if I want to start a bachelor's degree, general or professional, it should have a credit of 36 to 100 credits should be there, and this will be, this number of credits will be taught in 3 years. It can be split into 30, 30, 32 credits away in each year. So, it will be 3 years the duration the course can be completed. Suppose if it is having a bachelor's degree, second bachelor's degree 48 credits, then master's degree it has 64 to 72 credits and 2 years time duration is there. Master's degree in technical and professional, the number of credits are more, here 96 to 124 credits should be there, and it is a duration in the distance mode is a 3 years. These are all exclusively distance mode. It is quite differ from the conventional courses, but the credits how it will be operated, how many learning hours, that also we can deal away, but I am just giving the quantified figures of how many credits are required for a certificate course, for a diploma course, for a full time degree course, for a postgraduate course, for a professional master degree course and duration. Similarly, earlier MPhil and PhD was also been offered in a distance mode. Of course, presently they are not allowing for a distance mode MPhil and PhD, but MPhil also the credits was designed that it should have 48 credits away and equivalent to 1.5 year. If a PhD want to be offered in a distance education, that is an earlier case. So, that is a 64 to 68 credit will be there, that is a if a student who is opting this PhD without MPhil, that is a 64 to 68 credits equivalent to 3 years duration. A PhD with MPhil course, the number of credit will be same, but the duration will be reduced to 2 years. But as of now, the UGC is not allowing for any MPhil and PhD programs through distance mode, but in case if they permits away, the credits pattern should be like this away. In the credits, I told you 30 study inputs, study hours. So, what are those study hours are there, which will be called study hours away, how we can calculate it away. So, we are giving here the methodology. In this, suppose if I want to make it 2 credits, then it is given that the study input should be 60 hours. Then size of the self learning material should be 6 to 8 units, and I will be explaining you what is a unit and what is a block, what is a course also in the next slides, but right now here it is a 6 to 8 units are required for a 2 credit along with the study input of 60. Similarly, counseling by the teacher is a 6 hours, minimum 6 hours should be there if I want to start a 2 credits any program, short term program, and practical session is also a mandatory 60 hours session should be there, and then assignment, number of assignment will be 1. So, like this, if it is a multiplied with the number of credits away, the multiplication of the study input, self learning material units will increase, and counseling in a theory will also increase, practical sessions will increase, and number of assignment will also increase. You can see that is a 4 credits, you have 120 and 14 to 16 SLM material, and then counseling hours 12 and 120 hour practical session, and then 2 assignments. Last one is a 8 credit is there, you can see 8 credit to 240 study input is there, and number of study learning material, self learning material is 30 to 34 units are there, counseling hours 24, practical session is a 240 hours. It may be spread in number of days, maybe in the weekends or it may be in the everyday evening hours. So, these study inputs in a this is a span of 6 months, it may be taught or the inputs may be given in the evening hours or in the weekends, or it may be continuously. Ultimately, the student should be given input within the duration of 1 year or 6 months. This total input should be given to them, that will comprise the self learning material, theory, practical and assignments. Thank you.